Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah.
Amazing Islam.
It's an Aouun Digital Media presents.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alameen. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome all of you to our daily program, which is summary of a Juz in this Ramadan, one Juz a day. Today we are passing Ramadan 29, and our scheduled program is summarized Juz-29. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow is Eid, so Juz-30 will be on Eid day, inshallah ta'ala. I will cover on tomorrow. Alhamdulillah, Eid Mubarak to all of you. So let's see what is in Juz 29. Before I do that, please share this program with your brothers and sisters so they can also get benefit out of it, inshallah ta'ala. So if you can share from your device, it would be really appreciated, and other people will get chance to watch it and get benefit, and you are also will be getting the same benefit when they're watching. And if anything helps them and they change, they understand, they do, it will really help them. So as you know, Quran has total 30th juz, and today we are going to talk about Juz 29 that has Surah Al-Mulk, Chapter Al-Mulk, Chapter Al-Qalam, Chapter Al-Haqqah, Chapter Al-Ma'arij, Nuh, Al-Jin, Al-Mudammil, Al-Muddassir, Al-Qiyamah, Al-Insan, and Al-Mursalat. These are the chapters in this Juz. So Juz 29 starts with Surah Mulk, which is opening passages describe life as a test. Then it challenges man to look for faults, if any, in creation. Before speaking of the conversation between the inhabitants of hell and its guards. Verse 13 to 17 forces men to look beyond apparent ability of the earth and the calm sky, then inviting him to look at the flight of the birds in verse 15 to 19. Yet the headless man fails to respond and continues to ask about the time of the day of judgment in verse 25 to 27. Finally, the surah concludes in warning them with water. If all your water were be taken away, who would give you clear flowing water, in verse 30. Then Surah Qalam starts with speaking of the truthfulness of the Prophet. It then refers to the offers of compromise that the disbeliever made to the Prophet. The story of the people of Garden, a description of the day of judgment, how Allah Subhanahu O'tala gives time to allow the disbeliever to come to the truth. then ending with an invitation to patience in adversity. Then Surah Haqqa starts with describing the punishment that came upon past communities, verse 4 to 12. Before speaking with trumpet, the eight angels that will carry the throne of Allah, the book of record, the bliss of believers, and the sad end of the disbeliever, verse 13 to 39. The final passage 40 to 52 uh, reiterates the truth of messenger and his message. Indeed, the Quran is an absolute truth. Ma'arij starts with speaking of the length of judgment day of 50,000 years, verse 6 to 7. Verse 8 to 14 describes the terror of the day. Verse 19 to 35 talks about men's response to good and evil in terms of faith and also provides a picture of the believers. Verse 36 to 37 criticizes the disbelievers' attitude towards the messenger and the Quran. The surah concluding at 44 addressing of Prophet to leave them to face their fate on that promised day. Then Surah Nuh starts with describing the mission of Nuh alayhi salam, his encounter with his people, the promise of reward, warning of punishment, followed by his complaint against them in verse 21, and then his dua against them in verse 24, ending with his humble appeal to Allah, verse 28, seeking forgiveness for himself, his parents, and all believers. Then Surah Jinn, uh, from verse 1 to 19, is an account of what the jinn said about the Quran. Verse 20 to 28 is asking the Prophet to deliver his message and the divine protection granted to him in the process. Surah Muzammil is an instruction to the Prophet to stand up in worship, particularly at night, and recite the Quran with tartil. Then Surah Muddassir instructs him to invite people to faith with advice and warning. It mentions the 19 angels as keepers of hell, followed by the disbelievers' confession on the day in verse 38 to 48. The surah ends making firm statement about the Quran being a reminder. Surah Qiyamah speaks primarily about the truth of resurrection and death from start to finish. Four verses interrupt the sequence. 16 to 19, starting the Allah takes all responsibility of the Quran, its revelation, preservation, collection, and explanation. As the surah draws to an end, it states the truth about man's existence, how he was brought to being from a single drop, 36 to 40. Then insan in 30 verses is a calm address encouraging people to turn to Allah. By contrast, Mursalat is more about warnings with a host of images about the end of this world, the fates suffered by earlier communities, a reminder of the origins of man, and rebuke the disbeliever and his stubborn rejection. Brothers and sisters in Islam, this is was the um, this was mashallah, Fukrul Islam Alamgir, who is a friend of mine. He's watching, alhamdulillah, and he said Eid Mubarak to everyone. Thank you very much, Shaykh. So alhamdulillah, this was the summary of Juz 29. inshallah ta'ala. Tomorrow we will talk about Juz 30. May Allah give us the tawfiq to understand His book and implement in our daily life. And may Allah give blessings and pleasure, joy in upcoming Eid tomorrow. May your family and friends and everybody unite together. If you cannot, if they are somewhere else, talk each other and um, like get their get in touch with them, call them, exchange views with them, and enjoy this Eid, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah accept all of our salawat, Psalm, Ruku, Sajda, all the ibadah that we have covered last 29 days in this Ramadan. May Allah bless all of us. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much for watching. Inshallah ta'ala, I will see you tomorrow at the same time for Juz 30. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.